It all began at the end of January 1959. A group of 10 experienced ski hikers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute set out on what was supposed to be the most challenging trek of their lives. The leader was Igor Dyatlov, 23 years old, brilliant engineering student, passionate organizer, and the heart of every expedition he joined. With him were his close friends Zinaida Kolmogorova, Yuri Doroshenko, Yuri Krivonishenko, Rustam Slobodin, Nikolai Thiboks-Brignol, Alexander Kolvatov, Lyudmila Dubinina, Semyon Zolotaryov, and the youngest of the group, Yuri Yudin. These were not beginners. Almost all of them had already completed difficult winter routes in the Urals. They knew how to pitch a tent in a blizzard, start a fire at degrees C, and navigate through deep snow for days. This time, the route was rated Category III, one of the hardest possible in the Soviet Union at the time. On January 25, the group left Sverdlovsk full of energy. They laughed, sang songs around the campfire, wrote letters home. Yuri Yudin later remembered, "Everyone was in great spirits. No one complained about the cold or fatigue." But already on January 28, Yuri Yudin began to feel severe pain in his leg. The pain became unbearable, and he made the painful decision to turn back. He returned alone to Ivdel, while the remaining 9 continued deeper into the mountains. That was the last time the full group was photographed together. By February 1, they reached the slope of a mountain the local Mansi people called Kalatsiakal, which translates to Mountain of the Dead. The Mansi avoided this place, believing it cursed. But the students were young, educated, and did not believe in superstitions. They pitched their tent on the open slope, an unusual choice, but perhaps they wanted to test their skills in the exposed terrain. They cooked dinner, talked, laughed, and went to sleep. That was the last night anyone heard from them. February 1, 1959. The group sets up camp on the exposed slope of Kalatsiakal. It's an unusual choice. Most experienced hikers would have looked for shelter in the trees below. But the tent is pitched high in the open with the entrance facing the wind. Inside, they cook a simple dinner, share a few jokes, and crawl into their sleeping bags. Outside, the temperature drops to around degrees C, and the wind begins to pick up. That night, something terrible happens. No one knows exactly what, but the evidence left behind tells a chilling story. On February 26, a search party finally reaches the slope. They find the tent still standing, but cut open from the inside. The cuts are frantic, made with a knife from within, as if the hikers were trying to escape in panic. All their belongings, clothes, boots, food, equipment, are still neatly inside. No signs of struggle, no footprints leading away except their own. The tent is half buried in snow, but the hikers are gone. The search team follows the tracks downhill toward the tree line, about 1.5 kilometers away. There, under a large cedar tree, they find the first bodies. Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko, barefoot, in underwear, lying side by side next to the remains of a small fire. Their hands are burned. They had desperately tried to warm themselves. Both died of hypothermia. Further down the slope, the searchers discover 3 more bodies. Igor Dyatlov himself, frozen in a crawling position, as if trying to return to the tent. Zinaida Kalmogorova and Rustam Slobodin, also on their way back uphill, collapsed in the snow. Again, no shoes, no warm clothes. All 3 died of hypothermia. But the remaining 4, Lyudmila Dubinina, Semyon Zolotaryov, Alexander Kolvatov, and Nikolai Thiboks-Brignol, are nowhere to be found. The search continues for another 2 months. In May, when the snow finally melts, the last 4 bodies are discovered in a ravine, 75 meters from the cedar tree. They are buried under 4 meters of snow, and this is where the mystery becomes truly disturbing. In May 1959, when the snow finally melted, the last 4 bodies were found in a ravine 75 meters from the cedar tree. Lyudmila Dubinina, Semyon Zolotaryov, Alexander Kolvatov, and Nikolai Thiboks-Brignol. They were buried under more than 4 meters of snow, far deeper than the others. And this is where the case becomes truly disturbing. The bodies showed injuries that made no sense in a simple hypothermia death. Lyudmila Dubinina was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her lips. Her ribs were crushed, the kind of force usually seen in high-speed car crashes. Semyon Zolotaryov had massive chest trauma, multiple broken ribs. Nikolai Thiboks-Brignol had a fractured skull. Yet there were no external wounds, no blood on the snow, no signs of a fight. Even more strange, some of the clothing showed traces of radiation. The levels were low but detectable, far higher than background. The official investigation was led by Lev Ivanov. After months of work, the conclusion was an unknown compelling force caused the deaths. The case was closed as an accident. The exact cause, avalanche. But the avalanche theory has huge problems. The slope was only 15-20 degrees, too gentle for a major slide. No large snow mass was found near the tent. The tent was cut from inside. Why would anyone cut their way out of an avalanche? And why were the bodies scattered over such a wide area? Some with severe internal injuries but no external marks. The radiation, officially ignored. The missing tongue, officially blamed on natural decomposition, even though other bodies were better preserved. The files were classified. Lev Ivanov later said in interviews, "I was told to close the case. There were forces involved that we were not allowed to investigate." The official story never satisfied anyone who looked closely. And over the decades, theories multiplied. The official story is an avalanche, but the questions remain unanswered after more than 65 years. What do you think really happened on that mountain? Drop your theory in the comments. I read every one. If this story chilled you, hit like, Subscribe and turn on notifications for more unsolved mysteries from the past. Thanks for watching.